finding great content to populate your radio station website can be frustrating. Well, today we'll introduce you to a service that includes state and national news that you can import into your website, and it's absolutely free.
You're listening to Better Radio Websites, the definitive podcast for radio professionals who want their websites to generate more traffic and substantial revenue. Get time-tested techniques, secret tricks, and valuable tools in online content, marketing, analytics, security, social media, and much more. Ready for your radio station to dominate digital in your market? Here we go.
Hi, it's Jim, and welcome to Better Radio Websites, the podcast that wants to help you get more visitors and the most revenue from your radio station website. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. And, content is a big pain point for radio stations. Finding content to put on your website, and content is very, very important, because if you're making money with your website and you're wanting to make money with your website, hopefully you are, content is what is really going to be the driving factor to revenue, because content equals fresh visitors equals better SEO. Better SEO means that more people come to your website, and visitors, just like your radio station, the more people that you have listening, the more visitors that you have to your radio station website, the more you can charge for banner ad clients and page sponsorships that are there. So, content is the minimal thing that you need in order to drive revenue for your radio station website. And a lot of radio stations out there, what they're doing is they're like, okay, RSS feeds. I'm going to grab this RSS feed from Rolling Stone or MTV or CMT or something like that, and just place that on my website. And maybe I'll grab a feed from over here and a feed from over here and a feed from over here, and I'll put all of this stuff so my website looks relevant. Actually, that's one of the worst things that you can do for your radio station website, is pulling content and just displaying it on your website. Because whenever you do that, it's like a widget or something like that. Whenever you do that, when somebody comes to your website, they're like, okay, here I am on the radio station website. Oh, wow, something about Taylor Swift. Let me click that, and then I'm gone to Entertainment Tonight, or whatever. If I'm gone there, I'm no longer on this radio station website, and that is counted as a bounce. They came to the website and they immediately left. When those bounce rates increase, that means the short amount of time between somebody landing there and then leaving, that negatively affects your SEO. That means that less people will find your radio station website for the things that you want them to find you by, like a radio station in your market. So it's important that if you're going to even have RSS feeds included on your radio station website, is that you import that content so that visitors remain on your website and don't immediately jump off. Now, there are a lot of legitimate news services that you can import news from, like ABC News. United Stations has a boomsite.fm product where it includes entertainment news. Both of these services are barter, though. So you'd have to reach out to them and then work out a barter deal, and then they give you a specific link to import that content on your radio station website. That's fine. But we found a service that offers state news, which is very hard to find anyway, because the big national news places like ABC News do not offer state news. They just offer the national stuff. But the Center Square, we found this through one of our affiliates. They introduced us to them, and got to actually hang out with them and learn a little bit more about their news service. And Jerry Lyles, he's the VP of Syndication and Distribution for the Franklin News. That's the company that owns the Center Square. And this service is absolutely free. They include the RSS feeds right on their website, where you can go and import these news. They include images. They sometimes include other things like audio and video and stuff like that, embeds. You don't have to worry about folks jumping off to go to the Center Square. They remain on your website. So I thought it would be very, very cool to have Jerry come on the podcast and actually tell you all about the Center Square and everything that Franklin News can offer your radio station. Jerry, thank you so much for being on Better Radio Websites.
Thanks, Jim. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about you and the Franklin News and of course the Center Square. How'd you get involved with becoming the VP of syndication stuff?
Well, it's kind of a long story that I'll condense. I spent the first half of my career in the newspaper publishing business in Kentucky and Tennessee. In the late 90s, I made a move to Nashville and joined a company called Publishing Group of America, and we published a national magazine called American Profile, which was inserted into community papers across the country. Long story short, that was a great opportunity to make connections across the country outside of my Kentucky, Tennessee roots. And over the years, have morphed into a digital format and content. And ended up with the Center Square a couple of years ago after working for some independent companies that provided various digital needs for their websites. So, hey, in today's environment, and we all know this, that newsrooms are shrinking and stretched and have limited budgets. The Center Square was very appealing to me because our product is free. We are funded through donations, and we provide news content for all 50 states. It's very center-based, just straight up news, no opinions, just fact news. We want to keep people informed about what's going on in their states, and then also nationally when it's related to fiscal responsibilities, laws, things that are changing. And it's just a great fit. We have about 1,000 partners currently across the United States, from TV to radio to newspapers. It's very rewarding for me because coming from the newspaper background, being able to provide a service to news outlets that truly are having a really tough time with personnel, and actually sometimes they have the resources to hire people, they just can't find them. They're just not out. So we feel like that we're kind of a little company tucked away over here on the side that's helping keep the content flowing for a lot of websites.
Yeah. So how many? I mean, do you have actually reporters in each one of these states?
And either we have full-time reporters in those states or we have freelancers in the states. So yes, yeah, we want people that already have connections with people so we can kind of get the inside track, what's coming up, what's going on. So we're either full-time there or we have freelance reporters in those markets.
Okay. And just to kind of give everybody the lay of the land, what, in addition to, because our affiliates are their main focus is on state news and of course national news. What other kind of content?
We do state, we do national, we do content around the border, content around energy. We do content around veterans, agriculture. So we try to hit all those verticals that impact people in some form or fashion every day. So it's just one of those situations where we've looked at kind of areas that maybe are not being covered very extensively, and we've tried to go in and really give people good information in all those various verticals. And again, we're also in the podcast business, and we're in the over-the-air broadcast business. So we do have in focus programs, which focuses on some select states like Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, Washington, California. We're going to be expanding that over the next few months. Then our podcast, again, cover various topics. Some of them historical type topics, some of them current day economic topics. So, we're trying to bring a full suite. I kind of wanted to call us the 360 media company. We're bringing a full suite of products, for either radio, TV, or print.
Wow. So radio affiliate could take maybe the podcast or whatever and put that on the air?
Yeah, they can put it on the air, or they can put it on their website. They can put the over-the-air content that we offer, which we have three various products around that. One's called the Center Square Radio Hour. Everyday Economics is another one, and then our In Focus products. So
And those are free as well, or is there?
we're all free, yes. Everything we do is based on donors and sponsors, because again, a lot of people understand the environment that we're in now. You know, we talk about news deserts. We want to fill those news deserts, with content, so they're not news deserts anymore. I mean, again, growing up in the business or growing up as a young person, when you look at communities, whether it's the radio station, the TV station, or the newspaper, it's the literally the ears and the voice of the community. And when you lose that, you lose really the heart of the community. And it's very important to me, and that's why I really love to see what you're doing, because again, you're reinvigorating the thought process, for these markets and how to do business to stay relevant and grow.
Yeah, yeah, I do appreciate that. But so, how often is this news being? Is it updated every day, or is it
Yeah, yeah.
multiple
So,
times a day?
yeah, on an average week, we will produce about 600 stories. And if there's like the presidential election or the debates or the assassination attempt, you're going to see that volume increase because, there's just naturally more news going on. So yeah, it's refreshed multiple times throughout the day. Again, we're doing about 100 stories a day, so it's constantly being updated. And again,
Sure.
we have RSS. We have RSS feeds. So if you want to take an RSS feed, and it's just a plug and play. If you want to manually ingest it, you can. If you're working with the CMS, they can potentially integrate it into your CMS for you. So we have a lot of different options, and if there's something that you need that we're not doing, we'll take a look at it, and if we can meet your needs, we'll be happy to accommodate you.
Sure, sure. And now I have to ask you this. You said about the debates and stuff like that. Does this news service kind of lean one way or the other? That's a big concern about taking any kind of a news service. Okay, well, this is not going to identify with our audience, or this is going to make somebody mad, or something like that.
What's really for me has been an enjoyable environment is no, it's very much news. That's it. So as a kid growing up, watching Walter Cronkite, I had no idea if he was left or if he was right.
Yeah,
He just told news. He basically was right down the middle, and that's what we want to be. We want to really come into an environment where we're creating the desire for a deeper dive, where we open people's minds and they go and they look and they educate themselves. They become more knowledgeable, especially around fiscal responsibilities of the state and federal government. I mean, it's our money that they spend, and you need to be aware of how it's being spent, and you need to be educated, and then that way you can talk, with a good sense of knowledge if you meet your representative or your governor or whoever it may be. I mean, that's our role as news providers, to bring knowledge to the audience, so they can then make really good decisions, whether they're voting or whether they're just meeting with their elected officials, that they have the knowledge to say like, hey, what about this?
sure, sure. And the stations that import all of this content, do they have to worry about like image copyright and stuff like that? Because I know that was a major thing, and it was a discussion that we had not too long ago.
Right. Yeah. So initially we were using a third party for our photography, and we did not have what's called a father-child relationship, which would have meant that they would have been able to use that photography. So we recently canceled that contract. We have sourced out our images ourselves, so they can use the images. There is no copyrights. There's no infringements. They are images that we have been clear to use, or they are our own images. And we can provide her what kind of documentation that someone would need to feel comfortable with that. It's on our site, but again, if there's another type of language that someone needs, we're happy to do that. Because again, that was we're all visual people, even though we read. A photograph is important for an article. It's like a recipe book. Think about it that way. A recipe that has a photograph of what you're going to end up hopefully having is going to make you stop and probably dive deeper. So images are important. So we've worked over the past year and a half to make sure that we have a good library of photographs, and we're constantly updating that. That we can use, that the partner can also use. So,
are you using any kind of AI in that or in your services whatsoever?
I mean, again, it's kind of like everything in life. Are there going to be opportunities down the road? Yes, but I think that until it's all sorted out and we understand some legal issues, and then also understand how to use it, where we maybe take our long form stories and maybe condense them down where it's a shorter read. That's one potential area that we could look at. But we want to make sure that we stay within the legal boundaries that we feel comfortable with right now until it's kind of sorted out a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, that makes total sense. So what would a station have to do? Just literally go to the centersquare.com and go to the RSS and grab the RSS feed if they wanted to? Or do they need to let somebody know?
No, I mean, they can contact me. It's Lyles at franklinnews.org. Or you can go to the website and you can just go to the RSS feeds. You can pull any or all. I mean, there's each one by state. There's one by vertical, as we were talking about earlier. There's no contracts. There's nothing to sign. You just, pull the RSS feed in. You can either embed the RSS feed into your CMS in your site, or you can use the RSS feed to pull the content manually in, or you can actually sign up for a daily planner or multiple daily planners by state, where you get an email every day, and then you can go in and then manually ingest if you want. My suggestion is, because again, everybody's bandwidth is really, really narrow, is an RSS feed. It's just a much more simple process for everyone. It's seamless, and it's being updated. So, I mean, one of the things, Jim, that I mean, I'm looking at a lot of websites, media websites, and it's really, I mean, I'm not going to say sad, but I see news content that's sometimes a week and 2 weeks old. And part of it is, again, coming back to that bandwidth. And so, we want to make sure that if you take our national/state feed, you're going to have 100 stories per day going through your site. So there's never going to be a moment where someone comes back to your site that they're going to be, seeing something that's a week old. It's just not going to happen.
That's good. Yeah, that's very good. Now, you mentioned some of the. Go into detail a little bit more about the things that stations can use on air as well as online. I know we're talking about websites here, but I think it's interesting to know that if if this source has multiple things that stations could be using, that may be beneficial to them.
Right. So our in focus programming, again, we cover about 7 states with our in focus programming. And really what that boils down to is we're focusing on what's going on in that state, with our reporter that's based there. So it could be something that's going on legally inside the state. It could be something economically going on. It could be a lot of different areas, and we kind of basically want to inform the people that either listening to it or driving down the road in their car. And that, again, that content is free. You can go to our FTP site and you download it. You can air it at any time you want. There's no stipulations. There's no bartering. It's totally free. And the Center Square Radio Hour really is kind of that, but on a national level. We don't go in and just do exclusively Wisconsin or Michigan. We do more of the national coverage. So this week it probably is going to focus around the debate. And then also other kind of breaking news or stories that stand out. Again, all the content is free. You can take it, you can use it, and however you want. You can use it, 2 o'clock in the morning because that's where you have some space to fill. And
Right.
years ago, I wouldn't have thought anybody would listen to anything at 2 o'clock in the morning. But as I get older, I understand about getting up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning now.
Right.
So,
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jerry,
and
this has been
that is all free, and it's on an FTP site, and you can go and pull whatever you want.
so internet only radio stations can use this too.
Oh yeah, anybody can use it. Yes, yeah,
That's
sure can.
fantastic. Well, Jerry, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Give me your contact information one more time. Get everybody the contact information so they can reach out to you and get these feeds on their site.
Sure. My name is Jerry Lyles, and the contact would be J, and it's Lyles at franklinnews.org. And again, if you miss that, you can just go to the website, and I'll be listed there. And feel free, if you contact, or if you go to our site, feel free to contact me. And if you've got any questions, additional questions, I'll be happy to hop on a call, or trade emails and tell you whatever you need to understand better. So
Awesome. Jerry, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
thanks, Jim. Good talking to you.
So awesome having Jerry on the podcast. What an awesome guy. And now the Center Square, while it's free and while they offer all of these state news and the veterans and all this other content, it's great. Do not rely on that entirely. You may want to say, hey, look, he has news for every state so I'll just import every bit of these. Please don't do that. All right. What you'll want to do is you'll want to see what works best for your particular audience, because too much content on your radio station website can actually be bad for you, because then you'll not start being relevant to your local area, in the area that you're really focusing on broadcasting to. And when you're no longer relevant, you have all this extra content that's not relevant to them, then that's an SEO hit as well. So like if you're stationed here in Mississippi and you're wanting to put Wisconsin news on your radio station website, that's not going to make sense, because you're going to have all this content on your website, but only a little bit is going to be relevant to your audience. Google and the other search engines take note of that and actually decrease your SEO scores. So what you'll want to do is grab the right content and only use this content to supplement the local stuff that you're putting on your radio station website. Don't think, okay, here I have a Mississippi radio station. I'll just go get the state news and the national news, and then don't do anything else. Not put any local stories like within your town or event news or anything like that. That's very, very important that you include that information, and then use sources like the Center Square to supplement that on a little bit bigger level. That way you're super serving everybody right down to the town that you are in. All right, so that's very, very important. Hopefully this information helps you. If you want to, we left all of the links to Jerry and the Center Square and where you can get the RSS feeds and everything like that within the show notes, so be sure to check that out. If this has been helpful to you, be sure that you share this episode out with your radio colleagues, and anywhere that you get the podcast, please leave us a note, a message, and share it out. We do appreciate that. Have an awesome week online, making your radio station website better. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Better Radio Websites. Remember to subscribe, leave a rating or comment, and share this episode with your team and radio colleagues. For show notes, archived episodes, and more free resources, visit betterradiowebsites.com. Need help starting or making your radio website better? Visit skyrocketradio.com.